Welcome to the Now You Know podcast, a podcast that will guide you to successfully navigate the online world and give you, as a super bonus, some thought-provoking takes on life. Without further ado, here is your host, entrepreneur, marketer, professor, and author, Flavio Salza. We are happy to have you here today. Enjoy the show.
All right, so today I will take a little bit different road on this podcast show, if you may call it like that. So I would like to update you about the project, which is the Now You Know podcast project, as well make some announcement, which is I'm taking a vacation. So as we are entering August, and August is so hot, in Japan, so it's very hard for me to actually, use the podcast. If I turn on the air conditioner, for example, it's going to be noisy. So it's a great time for taking, just a short break. So I believe I'm going to be back around sometime in September. So it's going to be like a month break, and I will use this break to finish this season of this podcast, which is now season 2. So when I return, we started season 3, and I will try to also make some adjustments and try to come up with something new as well. So that being said, if you have anything or suggestions or comments about the podcast, check the links on the description. There is a link to how you can contact me. So all your suggestions and all your opinions are welcome, and I will try to reply as much as I can. So that also is a great opportunity for you to review all the episodes so far and try the learnings from those episodes and try to, really act on the knowledge. And don't forget always to measure your results, like the things you're doing before and the things you're going to do by applying the Now You Know podcast knowledge that you get it, right? So it's very important to always measuring your results. So if you didn't get the Now You Know guidebook yet, it's also a great time to do so, because you can use this summer, like summer readings time. You might have some break as well. So you can use that to review all the concepts and in a written format, so you can take your own pace, and everything is there on the guidebook. So again, it's available on Amazon everywhere, worldwide, and also we have on Kindle and ebook type as well. Okay, so that all being said, we're going to talk about self-quotes today. And I think it's, again, in the same kind of a thought that we had, that we need to create some contents new, right? So we've been seeing that for the past maybe 4 or 5 episodes, how you try to be creative on the contents that you're sharing, because you don't want to repeat yourself over and over, right? So one type of content, which, by the way, I don't see many people using, is self-quotes, right? And to be honest, it's one of my favorite content creation, because, like I said, I don't see nobody doing that much. Usually people quote somebody else quotes, right? So, and I think that approach of quoting someone, a famous person usually, It's kind of everybody does that, right? So basically, you don't put anything new to the table, right? So by forcing you to create some self-quotes, and that means quotes that you create yourself about your thoughts, about your experience, your something that inspire you, and then you make that into a small quote, and again, this is just like a normal famous quote that you would say or post, but that one is created by you. And I think honesty, this is much better than the normal quotes that we see all the time.
It is a very, very complex thing to talk about. Now, I can start off by saying, oh, gee, don't have debt, don't have debt. Well, I built an empire on debt. Now, I also got in some trouble because I had billions and billions of dollars in debt, and when the market crashed, having debt is not the greatest thing in the world. Many of my friends were forced out of business. They went bankrupt, and you'll never hear from them again. I never had to do that, but I was in deep trouble in the early 90s because I had massive amounts of debt, and the real estate markets crashed and various other markets crashed. So debt is a beautiful thing in good times. It's a terrible thing in bad times. You have to know how to manage debt. You have to know where to put it, when to put it, how much to put on. And to be honest, if things don't work out, you have to be able to know how to deal with your bankers and work a deal. And I've said that a lot about debt. You know, the beauty of debt is that usually when the world goes bad, you're going to be able to make a deal with your banks, because what happens is they have lots of other people that also have problems, and the last thing they want to do is own certain properties or own certain businesses, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the things we teach you in real life is that if things go bad, you can go out and you can probably, if you know what you're doing, if you're honest, and if you're sincere, and if you're a professional, make a deal with your bank. That's one of the reasons that I sort of like the concept of debt, but you have to be entrepreneurial. You have to be really out there. The beauty is that if things are good, it works, no problem. If things are bad, you go out and you renegotiate.
Okay, so this is actually not a quote, but this is just one example where people use someone talking or someone's thought, and they basically post that idea, right? But that's what everybody does, right? So, and you're trying to be creative and take a different approach. So developing your own codes is a very nice move, and sharing that will help you, your personal brand and yourself, positioning yourself online. And because first, people, we're gonna have some how can I say, they will, the first thing is 100% authentic. So for your brand, that's the way it should always be, right? And also, people, like I said, they are used to Trump quote, Muhammad Ali quote, or something like that, right? And when they have a quote from yourself, shows how creative you are and how you can, basically take another approach that nobody's actually in that road, right? So again, self-quotes may come up to you naturally, and most probably will not be something that you have to think over and over and try to make a quote, right? But what I suggest is that you keep collecting those raw thoughts and raw thoughts.
Don't you have some kind of a line that you keep open for emergencies or for celebrities? I'm both. I'm a celebrity in an emergency.
So, this is a raw thought, right? So, you keep collecting those thoughts that you have and try to write down so you don't forget it. And you can lapidate those raw thoughts in something that you can extract in a simple quote, right? We just saw the Trump example there, right? Can you, everything he talked about it, can you make it short in a simple quote? Just as a training, things that you can do it, like a brainstorming, right? You can even create some visuals to go along with your quotes. Remember that it's not about text only, but you can match your self-quote with some pictures, some whatever photo, or even a video or logo, whatever it is. You can make it visually impact, right? Not only using the text of your self-quotes. And that by doing that will have much more impact than just write down a simple quote and share it online, right? We already talked about it. You don't need to be perfect when you drop a self-quote because your name will be tagged along with the quote. So know what you are saying or claiming is much more important than to be a nice quote or perfect quote, right? But remember, what is the goal you're trying to achieve, right? You want to inspire people. If that's the case, you have to come up with a self-quote that inspires someone, right? That's the aiming goal that you should try to come up with, right? So again, as an action, because self-quotes are very personal, I will not ask you to create a certain number of quotes or just for doing an exercise. But like I said before, you keep thinking about it, and when you have those raw thoughts, just make sure that you write down somewhere, and that later you can again try to make those raw thoughts into a self-quote, right? And actually, I hear my vacation coming up. So the guys are already downstairs, and I catch with you guys again on season 3 of the Now You Know podcast 1 month from now. All right? See you guys.
Thanks for listening. The Now You Know guidebook is now available at Amazon worldwide. Get your copy on paperback or Kindle. You can also keep up and interact with Flavio Salza via LinkedIn and Twitter. Plus, check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, keep rocking and loving on what you do.